Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to do another Star Wars video. We're going to talk about how the media is kind of backpedaling, I guess, on The Last Jedi and The Mandalorian, because they realize that they have been on the wrong side of the fandom, but they're going to try to reconcile their loathing, I think, of Star Wars fans and their loathing of Luke Skywalker with the love that the fans have for that final scene.
Right.
The Mandalorian.
So they have this article that loving both The Mandalorian and The Last Jedi isn't impossible. You're allowed to like them both, except the people who are, slamming at anybody who didn't like The Last Jedi a couple years ago.
God. Okay, so we're going to talk about that and the disdain that a lot of fans have for the sequel trilogy, and we also have some other odds and ends, Star Wars news. We're going to talk about the passing of Carrie Fisher. It's been 4 years since she passed, and the possible casting choice for Mara Jade, because you know they're going to go there.
You know they're going to.
You know, especially if they do a Luke series, you know they're going to go there. We'll see what happens, but before we get into it, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, we're over 163,000 subs. Subbing helps us grow. Liking helps us grow. Sharing the video helps us grow. Help us grow.
Yes, please do.
Let it grow. Let it grow. Okay, before we get into this, I want to mention, what Luke Skywalker means to our generation, and that's the one thing. Why are people so angry about how Disney treated Luke Skywalker? Because he's a hero. He is an archetype hero. There's been a lot of attempts to tear him down, call him a Mary Sue. And
they keep going on about how, girls need characters they can relate to too. Like implying girls can't relate to a male character because they're male. That's ridiculous. Of course girls like male characters. I mean, they're related to them too. You want to be the hero as well. I mean, Princess Leia, as much as they tried to say wasn't, which we're going to talk about that later, I always thought she was always kick-ass. You know what I mean? But I always related to Luke as well.
Yeah, Luke has been a hero to many male and female people, Star Wars fans over the years, and he has an effect on people in real life. I just wanted to bring this gentleman up. His name is George Oldroyd, who apparently is one of the most decorated scouts.
Right. So we got a letter.
We did. We got a very lengthy letter from a friend of his talking about everything that George has done, and he's a very, very brave man. And, he's actually been injured trying to save others. And he's highly decorated. He's a scoutmaster. And his inspiration was Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, it was his father who was a fireman, but also like Luke Skywalker and Captain America and stuff like that. And he grew up watching Luke Skywalker. And so when you talk about how, it doesn't matter if we ruin the character of Luke. It doesn't matter. Who cares? It does matter. People do care, which Disney now I think is figuring out, a little bit kind of late, maybe too late. But I know they said that George was a fan. Yeah. So hello, George, if you're watching. I'm also a big person for Scouts because I was in Scouts from the time I was in first grade till I was in 11th grade. And I have the Gold Award for Girl Scouts. And I big time on, our daughter, I tried to get her in Scouts, but she didn't really care for it too much.
No, she's in it for a while.
She had some bad experiences though, but it was because some of the leaders weren't the best.
Yeah.
But, I just wanted to mention, because it was sent to us in a letter.
Yeah, it's a very nice letter. Thank you for reaching out. But yeah, Luke is a hero to many, and he's been a hero and inspiration to many. In fact, we were watching, the Plastic Galaxy?
I was watching that last night, yeah. And
the guy talking about Luke Skywalker, he said, yeah, he actually, Luke was the hero character, and he actually made Luke do more heroic things than he even did in the movies. But he was like, Luke was my hero guy. Like, he did everything because that's, and maybe people in their minds, made Luke out to be more heroic than he actually was. But when I was a kid, it was like the highest, tier of hero was Luke Skywalker. Optimus Prime, Duke from G.I. Joe.
Right.
You had these characters that were amazing hero characters that kids of our generation looked up to and they wanted to emulate heroes.
But anymore, in the last few years especially, it's been the trend to you cannot have male heroes.
No.
You have to ruin all the male heroes because, it's white men bad. And we have to do this push, which we're going to talk about in another video here later too, that to eliminate that. Which, I think most people don't really care about the gender. They care more about a good character with a good story. And the problem we're having is that we're getting a lot of characters who are not good characters, and it's not a very good story. Like we saw with Rey. I'm sorry, but you can't be the bestest, greatest, goodest at everything.
Yeah.
You know, and then you had Rose Tico, and she could have been a good character, but they made her out to be, and Holdo, they brought them in, inserted them just to be, you know, one up the men. That's kind of their whole point of being there. Mm-hmm. I mean, and then you had Finn, who was a person of color that was being set up to be the
next Luke Skywalker, basically.
And then they just kind of just stepped over him because, you know, he boobs. You know, and it's just like this whole idea that you can't. And so they spent years tearing down fans for being upset about what he did to Luke in The Last Jedi. Rightfully for being, you know, the fans were mad about it. And they kept making out it was a vocal minority. Well, it was such a damn vocal minority. How come Disney took such a hit over it? It was such a damn vocal minority. How come most people didn't go see Rise of Skywalker? And most people just were out. And the toys didn't sell. It was such a vocal minority. Why are they trying to go back now and fix it to try to bring the fans back? And they went and hired Favreau and Filoni to do Mandalorian to make it feel like old Star Wars. If it was just a vocal minority. Because it wasn't. So now all the blogs are out there trying to reverse their stance on this shit. Now.
Yeah, I'm like, don't forget. You know, the last 3 years, especially these blogs, you know, and including Screen Rant, including the Mary Sue, they have been the enemies of fans. They've been baiting, they've been calling fans names. They thought they were on the right side of it. You know, well, they're just a bunch of man babies. This is all Luke Skywalker's dead and gone, and he's so last year.
Well, not just that. They used the whole bullying thing if you didn't agree with them.
Yeah. They
started calling people names, bullying them, mocking them in articles, doing everything they could. And then now it doesn't work. People just step over you because they're like, you know, we're so tired of hearing your load of shit arguments that are lies. And they have to reverse course because no one's reading them anymore.
No. And that's it. So now they have to be like, well, yeah, we've spent the last 3 years shitting on the fans, but you can like The Last Jedi and The Mandalorian. But there are other articles out here too, escapists, talking about rumors about removing the Star Wars sequel trilogy from canon are about power, not continuity. And they're basically, this is the attitude these journalists have, by the way, because I think it's so weird because fans, geeks, nerds, you know, a lot of us were gate-kept out of, I guess, like a normal life when we were younger. Because
yeah, it was. It wasn't cool to like this stuff all the time. If Star Wars was when you were a lot younger.
Yeah, kind of. But we kind of found each other. And then we had, once Hollywood got a hold of pop culture in a way that they were starting to use their influencers and their Hollywood nerds and all that, you know, we could smell bullshit. And we tried to keep out, I think, a lot of us tried to keep out the fake geeks. Because, like, look, we already got burnt by, you know, the popular kids or whatever. And now we had people trying to come in and take this away from us, too. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, there was, I do believe on some level, there is a little bit of gatekeeping going on.
Well, not just that. A lot of these people that are coming in, that are in these positions on these blogs now, are themselves activists. And if you read I don't know about this person, but when you read a lot of profiles of people, it's like, because they're an activist, and they're an activist. It's not even about being a fan of something. It's about sitting on a platform basically being like, it's good and it's great just because it's not white guys. And I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. And so now they're like, it's about power, not about canon. It was never about canon. It was about canon, then Disney wouldn't have retconned all the shit they did and tried to make so many changes.
Well, this is what they're saying. They said, about the push to decanonize the sequel trilogy, which I'm going to be honest, I do not think it's going to happen.
I don't think they're going to either.
I think they're going to kind of push it to the back burner, but it happened, but we're not going to talk about it.
I think they'll try to rewrite things around it to make it less, but I don't think they're going to take it away.
But I love this. Second paragraph. It's worth acknowledging this move up front for what it is. An attempt at fandom gatekeeping and a desire of a certain generation of fans to assert that their fandom trumped anyone else's, especially against those who enjoy and appreciate aspects of the franchise that the self-appointed gatekeepers do not.
But you know what? This is everything that they said. You can flip it back on these bloggers.
Yeah.
These bloggers is what it is, an attempt at fandom gatekeeping and a desire for a certain generation of fans and fans is in quotes, certain generation of activists, fans, to assert their opinions on everyone else. And if you don't agree, they call you names and mock you, especially against those who enjoy and appreciate aspects of the original franchise that these self-appointed journalist gatekeepers try to keep out and mock and go around spreading false information about all over the internet. You know, pot or kettle there. Pot or kettle.
So now we have to backpedal. We have to walk it back and say, well, it's okay. You can like them both.
Well, no one ever said you couldn't like them both.
You can like them both.
I always say you're allowed to like it, you're allowed not to like it. But I'm not going to demonize someone for liking it, just like I don't think it's right to be demonizing people who don't like it.
For many longtime fans of Star Wars, moments show that they don't have to sacrifice their love for something starkly new like The Last Jedi or the warm and familiar nostalgic strains make it sound like labor of the Mandalorian.
That's what it sound like you're pooping is what it sounded like to me.
Like, oh God, the nostalgia. They can enjoy both equally without compromise. A number of critics, both professionals and fans, said The Force Awakens borrowed too much.
It did. I'm sorry.
No, this is about Luke Skywalker. This is about the soul of Star Wars. This isn't just like, we don't like new Star Wars versus, the old Star Wars is better. This is about them deliberately assassinating an icon, a pop culture icon.
They only did it because they wanted to make it their Star Wars and promote their character of Rey. That's what the whole thing's about. The only reason they assassinated Luke and they went everywhere they went to do is because they wanted to kill off, let the past die, kill it if you have to, so that you embrace and love their version, which is Rey.
Yeah,
that's what this whole thing's about.
Yeah, it was. It was about supplanting a male hero, because we've seen it time and time again. And I gotta wonder on some level. I mean, granted, China was involved, but I think it was problematic to have Finn be another male hero.
Finn should have been. His story was much more interesting.
It was.
They didn't have to retcon and make up shit for the last movie to make it make sense, try to make it make sense and make it interesting.
Yeah, and he actually had, something to overcome. He had, a lifetime of Imperial First Order training. And Luke I could have seen him being very apprehensive to train him because the guy's,
right. It would have been a much better story.
But instead they make him a janitor and a joke.
Right. And even in the Lego Holiday Special, they made him an incompetent idiot that needed Rey to show him how to do things.
Yeah. So this was intentional. This was about destroying a hero. This was about subverting expectations, but it's not about subverting expectations. It's about subverting hero characters, hero archetypes. So frankly, we don't have male heroes for guys like George to look up to anymore.
No, and men need to understand, especially boys, that they know their place. They're beneath women and everyone else, people of color and everybody else, because they're white males are problematic automatically. Whether or not they're a bad person, or not doesn't matter. Just because of something they can't control. We hear for years, well, people can't control what color they are. They can control sexual orientation. They can't control all that stuff. Exactly. Just like a person that's straight white male can't control that either.
Nope.
Rules for me or rules for thee, but not for me.
Yeah. So it's don't tell me it wasn't deliberate. It's absolutely deliberate. It was absolutely a malicious attack on Luke Skywalker by Kathleen Kennedy, who probably people have theories that she was like secretly jealous of George Lucas and Steven Spielberg for decades.
Oh, I'm sure she was.
And she finally had her chance to do her thing, and immediately she had to destroy Luke. I mean, now
were women always given the opportunities that men were? No, if we're gonna be honest, they weren't.
No, that's
But you have a chance to do something and do better, and the first thing you do is because it's not about making good film. It's about revenge, and there's a difference. You can still have, that you could have had good characters that were male and had good characters that were female and just focused on telling a good story that made sense with good characters that respected the original. It had nothing to do with it. You guys are all picking revenge over, quality. And that's a problem.
Yeah, it's like they're trying to make it musical chairs. Like, instead of realizing that there could be more seats at the table.
Oh, like Brie Larson was trying to say?
Yeah, that there could be more seats at the table. You want to kick people out of the existing seats, and replace them just for the sake of replacing them.
On franchises that were built up by other people.
Yes.
Just so they can say, look, it's diversity. Sorry. Oh, sorry.
Now, speaking of strong female characters in Star Wars, they did not invent this.
No. And today was interesting because today is the anniversary of Carrie Fisher's death. It was 4 years ago today. And I remember this happened. I cried for days, remember?
Yeah.
I kept crying. I just kept crying about it. I'm going to try not to cry about it now. And I remember going on to Twitter and saying about, she's always Princess Leia to me. And then I got so much shit because she's General Organa now. And it's like, well, actually, Princess Trump's general, but whatever. And, and they have this idea that there were no strong female characters in Star Wars until Rey. And I used to get so mad because I'm like, Leia kicked all kinds of ass. Leia tried to save them. I mean, granted, it was into garbage disposal, but she still tried, and she was out there taking charge because, that's what she did. And she was, amazing. And I know all the little girls were like, oh my God, there's a lot of boys who were like, oh my gosh, she's amazing. Well, we got so much shit from it. Well, today on Twitter, a lot of people were commenting that she's always their princess and about how she was strong, that she brought strong women to Star Wars. And I was like, really? Because a couple years ago, you weren't allowed to have that opinion.
No, yeah. They were like, oh, you have to call her General Leia now because, this new movie. Mm-hmm. But it's amazing how just in a few short years, they've walked it back. You know, now the sequel trilogy hasn't been that well received.
Yeah.
Now they kind of ruined her and they made her fly through the air like Mary freaking Poppins and sidelined her.
The character got treated like, So it's like, here's the thing. It's like we're turning it back to what the narrative was for years, which was Carrie Fisher was awesome. Carrie Fisher brought strong female, I must say that twice, ass kickery to Star Wars, and it's been there since the beginning. And she was Princess Leia, and even Star Wars, and they had the thing about in memory of their princess, always our princess. So, she's General Organa too. She's both. You can say you like either one. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. I mean, one of the very first lines in The Force Awakens was, she'll always be princess to me, and so it's, I mean, they tried to bury that too. It's like, it's just such a disrespect. Like Princess Leia was a groundbreaking character created by George Lucas, by the way.
Yeah.
Toxic male. And, she was a groundbreaking character, for sure. And we had Princess Leia at the same time we had, Ripley and Aliens, and that science fiction, 40 years ago, some ways, feels like it was more progressive than what we have now.
And Carrie Fisher she was amazing herself. I mean, she had a lot of issues, and she was very open and honest about it, wrote books, tried to help other people. She was always out there. I love this quote. Stay afraid, but do it anyway. What's important is the action. You don't have to wait to be confident. Just do it, and eventually the confidence will follow. And she was out there all the time and doing all kinds of cool stuff and, being an advocate and writing this stuff. And there's a lot of things that she did that were amazing. And it was just really sad that, she's not with us anymore. Yeah. And I remember when it happened, then Debbie Reynolds passed away too. And I used to watch movies with my mom with Debbie Reynolds in it. So it was just awful. That all happened back then. But Twitter's, celebrating her life today. And I just think it's interesting that you're allowed to have the opinion that she is Princess Leia.
Yeah.
Now.
So it's very similar to what's going on with The Last Jedi. It's like, now you're allowed to, like Luke Skywalker coming in being a hero again. Mm-hmm. Now
that it blew up in our faces, we can go back to that. I just thought it was interesting. A lot of people were saying General Organa too, but when I looked at it this morning, a lot of people were saying Princess. And I thought, because you're allowed you could call it either way. She was both characters. I mean, the same person. She was a general, which I still think is a step down. And she was Princess Leia.
Yeah. So, because generals report to royalty, don't they? Like the royalties at the top of the pecking order, and then you got the army under the military under their command. And anyway, this is logic. I feel bad because the sequel trilogy, she basically just sat in a chair for most of it, sat and flew through the air too, and got knocked into a coma.
Right. So she could be knocked out so Holdo could come in and do everything that Leia should have done.
Yeah.
But we're talking about strong characters in Star Wars that are female, and they keep having this idea that there weren't any. But if you go to the novels, there were strong female characters, including Mara Jade.
Yeah.
And they brought out Thrawn, so everybody's waiting for Mara Jade, and they were terrified they're going to ruin Mara Jade. And they better not make Brie frickin' Larson Mara Jade.
Yeah,
Don't ruin Mara Jade like that.
Karen Gillan, I'd be on board with.
I would. I think she could pull it off.
Now, there are talks that they're going to, going back to Luke Skywalker, that they're going to do a deep fake Luke series, or possibly cast another actor as Luke Skywalker, which they could maybe get into the Mara Jade thing. Of course, it's going to be very different from the Thrawn trilogy because of how they've done things, but as long as they don't screw her up, I think Karen Gillan would actually be a very good.
I think so too.
Mara
I think she could pull it off. So I would definitely see that. Plus, getting a redhead to play a redhead, what a novel idea. They're either going to get Brie Larson to do it and dye her hair red, or they'll turn around and go make her a black woman. I don't care if you get pissed. It's the truth.
Well, she's ginger. So that can't happen. It's a joke now. It's all the gingers get race bent. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, I could see Karen Gillan. I just don't know how they're going to do it now because it would require a lot of retconning because, she's never mentioned in the sequels at this point. And again, I don't believe that Disney is going to decanonize the sequels. Who knows? They might, but I don't think so. I think they're going to be like, no, this was our Star Wars. We can't just get rid of it.
Well, they already brought Thrawn in, so do I think they bring Mara Jade in if it doesn't make sense? Hell yeah. Of course, they're going to rewrite everything about it.
I love how the first thing Disney did was they burnt the expanded universe to the ground, and now they're going back and they're cherry picking certain characters and certain concepts, even planets. In The Mandalorian, they had certain planets and stuff that were from the expanded universe. They're going back and cherry picking all that stuff now. Why did you burn it down in the first place?
Right, exactly.
Why? Because apparently, there was some good stuff there.
They wanted to make it there.
Yeah.
It was going to be their baby. They owned it now. It's all about us. And then they pizzle over everything and say, it's ours, it's ours, it's ours, until it didn't work.
Yeah, exactly.
Until nothing would grow in the piss. Because if you ever see a dog pee on stuff that kills everything around it, nothing would grow. So now you're trying to uncover everything with the, get the pissy dirt off and then, pull out the good bulbs out of the garden and replant them someplace else. I'm
going to give a warning to my fellow geeks out there. Don't forget all the bullshit, because what they're trying to do now is they are trying to bury it. Mm-hmm. Don't forget the years of attacks, the years of these ridiculous hit pieces.
Yeah, and Disney let their own people that were working on this stuff attack. They have one of the Lucasfilm Story Group chicks assigned to be co-writing or whatever on Leslie Headland's new Accolade, whatever the hell it is that I don't really care about.
Yeah, look, guys, you might have got a bone tossed your way with the Luke Skywalker, but it's still the same people in charge. And don't forget, don't let these media outlets that have spent the last 3 to 5 years, even before Star Wars, with video games and all that, attacking fans constantly, day in, day out, calling people horrible things, making everything political when it wasn't political. Don't forget. Don't support them. They're just trying to save their own asses at this point.
It's going to take more than just putting Luke at the end of The Mandalorian, I think, to convince people.
I'm not convinced. I think that was just a tiny little nugget of goodwill from Jon Favreau. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's Disney. I don't think they're going to walk back anything.
That's why I keep sticking with the classics.
Yep. So just my feeling on it. Is there anything else you want to add?
Nope.
Okay, so please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.